So I want us to look at this new scenario that I have here. It's a scenario that is quite interesting as well. Okay. What is happening there is that following an increase in price of a particular good, okay, you can see that there was of a particular good. Which good are we talking about here? Good X. Following an increase in price for good X, there was a shift, leftward shift in the budget line from B1 to B what? To B2 here. As you can see, the price of good X increased, prompting consumers to buy less of that particular good. Okay, so there was a leftward shift of the budget line from B1 to B what? To B2. Before the shift, the equilibrium point was at E1, here with indifference curve 1, as you can see here. But now, after the shift, it has moved to what? To E3. But there's something that I want you to know. This thing happens as a process. There, I want you to be very attentive. It happens as a process. The first thing that will happen after the good X, yes, its price gone up, is that there is going to be movement along the same indifference curve, whereby the consumer was actually once buying this quantity of X. Okay, but now because X is now expensive, the consumer moves back to buy less of what? Of X, whose price has gone up, moving along the same indifference curve to this point here, E2. So the consumer is now going to be purchasing less of good what? Of good X. So the first movement occurs along the same indifference curve. So it's going to cause a movement from E1 to what? To E2 here. That's why we have an imaginary what? An imaginary budget line labeled B3. So it doesn't like shift like that automatically from B1 to B2. No. The first movement occurs along the same indifference curve, and it will be a movement from what? From E1 to E what? 2. Where the consumer now actually buys less of X, as you can see here. Then after that, there will be now a movement in the budget line to B2, which will result in the indifference curve actually going what? To actually this point, where we have equilibrium 3, where the consumer now buys less of X, as you can see, and this quantity of Y. So because the price has gone up, because the price of X has gone up, the real income is actually decreased for that particular consumer, and this results in a new what? In a new budget line. So if you want to see here, can you see something which is interesting? If you want to see, you can see that the movement from here, E1 to E2, there, is called the substitution effect, where the consumer moves along the same indifference curve from point E1 to E what? E2, buying less of X, because X is now expensive. It's called the substitution what? Effect. But this movement now from here, E2 to E3, is called the income what? It is called the income effect. So please take note, there is not going to be like an automatic shift from B1 to B2. There will be creation of an imaginary budget line 3, okay, where the consumer moves from equilibrium point 1 to equilibrium point 2 along the same indifference curve, because now good X price has gone up. Okay, such a movement will happen. So that is how that particular movement takes place, resulting in a new budget line B2. Okay, I'm going to actually explain what happens with some other type of goods in the event that also the price either goes up or goes down in the next video.